What it is, y'all, it is your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming back at you today with more Danmachi. Now, we are talking today about 7th Zone. We haven't talked about the light versus light, technically. You gotta use a dark team for this, and I think I've come up with a solution that's literally just a blanket team that can beat this every single time. Now, at first glance, this team looks like a little bit of a hodgepodge, and it is. It really is. We have the OG Haruhime, who's a fire unit. We have Goblin Slayer, who's obviously our dark unit. We have Line, who's a light unit, and she's going to be our sack per usual. We have the Winter Haruhime. She'll be here for a couple of reasons, but she's a water type unit. Then I've got Kurumi. Now, I'll explain what Goblin Slayer and Kurumi are doing here, but everybody else, aside from Goblin Slayer and Kurumi, everybody else is going to be a token on this team going forward. This is almost identical to the team that took down the light team very easily. Now, obviously, we have this Chione as well, and let's get into this and talk about why I feel like this is just a good blanket team you could use just about any time with one exception. Well, two exceptions, technically. So let's get into it. First of all, we're going to do Akane with Haruhime. And the nice part about having Goblin Slayer here is we can do a big dark type debuff on this. Give us a little bit of extra damage that we wouldn't have with another team. And we're going to do Line's 33%. And we're going to go ahead and do, we can do a physical and magic resist plus 35% with the Winter Haruhime. And that's just basically going to make us a little bit more survivable. Now, Line is going to disappear after this turn. There she goes. And we're going to bring in Kurumi. Now, the main thing to bear in mind here, the two units in the center right now are the two units you're gonna change every single time when you do this event. And the reason for that is being, I'm going to go ahead and buff Goblin Slayer one more time. And then Kurumi has a big dark type debuff. Basically, what you're going to be looking for out of these units is you want to have a good type debuffer and a good type single attack unit. With a unit like Goblin Slayer, who actually has some debuffs and some buffs along with him, it's a very good option, but you won't always have that with all of the types. So Goblin Slayer is kind of the exception here, not the rule, but he's a good single target attacker, and that's who you want in this fight. Okay, Kurumi is going to be our debuffer, and we're going to go ahead and do Yosuga and Dancing Snow with the two Haruhimes. Perfect. Now, actually, if I'm honest here, I should have saved Dancing Snow for this turn. So I'm going to do Dancing Snow one more time in this turn. And with Chione, now that she's here, we're going to do our SA gauge charge by 100% with her. Now, you'll notice with my assists that when I set my assists up, the OG Haruhime has the Casino Seer unit on her. Casino Seer is a big proponent of this. If you don't have her ML beater, you don't have her at all, it is unfortunate, but I think this is still doable. But if you do have her ML bead, use her each and every time. Basically, being an assist, she's not going to overlap the 33% that Line gives us. She's going to add on top of that. So Haruhime gets 133% every time she attacks for her SA gauge. I'm going to go and do Sheikah now, and I'm going to do Dancing Snow in this turn once again. Goblin Slayer is now doing his main attack, and we're basically just going to use Tione's main attacks as a way to more or less produce damage. Now, she's not going to be producing a crazy amount of damage here, obviously. Probably none at all, in fact, for at least a little bit. But you'll notice what happens here. Once we have Dancing Snow enabled, that is going to take away all those big buffs from the enemy. So what we're going to do is we're basically just going to do base attacks with Winter Haruhime. And we're going to go back and we're going to spam Yosuga with the OG Haruhime. In fact, on this turn, I'm going to go ahead and do her SA. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take that back. I'm going to have to do Yosuga one more turn. Probably should have done Sheikah so early. I probably should have saved Sheikah for a little bit later. So, doing our basic attacks with these units. normal everyday stuff. And you'll notice how quickly we're building up that SA gauge. It is very, very vital to notice that. Now, what I'm going to do here, actually, I'm going to change something up. I'm going to go ahead and... The nice part about Goblin Slayer is that he does 90% strength and dark attack for himself. So probably, in fact, don't even need to do Haruhime's SA. I could probably just stick to Goblin Slayer's SA and not worry about it. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm actually going to spam that. Most of the time, you'd want to do Haruhime's SA, and you might even want to wait for a double SA. But honestly, you're going to get more damage out of a bunch of single SAs. That's what I'm going to do here with Goblin Slayer. Okay? Now, I'm expecting here in a couple of turns, this thing is going to buff itself again. And when it does, we're going to bring back Winter Haruhime's attack. Now, basically, the long and the short of this tactic is, you're good. You use all the same units I'm using here, with the exception that your second sack is your best type debuffer, and your first main unit, or I say second unit technically in this, is your best single target attacker. Now, one problem I did have here is I didn't remove those debuffs. I should have used Haruhime to remove those debuffs, and I didn't. So that is a problem that didn't produce the kind of damage I needed. But that's okay. It's not a deal breaker. He'll do it next turn. So that is something to be... Okay, so it is worth noting here. The debuffs on Goblin Slayer are gone, so we're going to do his SA. We're going to do Dancing Snow now, because you see, if you're looking over here at the icons, the Serpent actually buffed himself up. Now, those buffs are for 3 turns. Okay? The Winter Haruhime is going to reduce those by 2 turns. So after this turn, all those buffs are gone. That gives us free and clear access to do whatever we want to do for the next couple of turns. And the nice part is, Goblin Slayer is going to produce damage here unabated. So let's see what he actually does here. Hoping for good things. And we got... Okay, right at a mill. Right at a mill. Good stuff. So basically what you're really looking forward here, or what you're looking for here is one unit that is MLB, that does single target damage, that can produce 1,000,000 attack damage or more. That is the key to actually winning this. So we're going to go and do Sheik on this turn. We're going to go back and do that smash with Goblin Slayer. Thank you, Brain. And I'm going to go back to doing a base attack with that Haruhime. You'll notice that we're just spamming Heavenly Blow. We don't really need to do anything with Tione at this point. She could just do whatever attack she wants. It's really not important which one she's doing. Because the damage she's producing is so absolutely minimal. You see that she hit for 34,000 with her best attack. Now, I could use Haruhime and buff everybody's attack stat, and it would produce a little bit more damage. But I want to showcase here just what the one attacker alone by himself is capable of. So, Goblin Slayer does not look like he has any debuffs. He does not. So we're going to go ahead and do his SA again. Let's see. How are we looking over here? I can actually do Sheikah one more turn. Let's make sure he's not running out. So I can do Sheikah one more turn. That's going to give us a couple extra turns that we can actually do Yotsuga that we don't have to worry about. Good stuff. Alright. Should get another mill attack out of this. Bam. Good stuff. Good stuff. Now he does have Strength 90 and Dark type 90. So we wouldn't get a whole lot more, like I said, out of Haruhime's SA. Normally, you'd want to do Haruhime's just to make sure we have that strength 100, and then whatever type attack damage your units tend to get after that. But for now, we are not worried about it one bit. Okay? I'm going to go back and do Yosuga, because if I go over here and check him, we got a couple of stats that are now coming up on one turn, and we want to make sure those are extended. So we'll do Yosuga, we'll do Smash, we'll do Heavenly Blow, and a base attack with Winter Haruhime. Are you noticing a pattern? Okay. So now that he is buffed, we're going to go ahead and do Dancing Snow one more time, and we got another SA, so we're going to do Goblin Slayer's SA one more time. Let go. If this is looking repetitive, it's because it is. Now, I'm willing to bet we can actually get an S clear out of this bad boy. We might actually be able to do that. Now, the one thing that I didn't mention here at the beginning is all of the armor that is on all of my units is... I feel like that should have hit harder. Anyway, I didn't see his life bar go down as much as I was anticipating it going down. We are using stun anklets on everybody. Only because we're at a state right now where we're... I mean, in this event, the Serpent will stun you. So you really need... You basically have to run stun anklets. There's no two ways about it. That's basically what's going to keep you in... with the capability to produce damage, more or less. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and use Sheikah one more time. Doesn't really matter at this point. We're just kind of cycling these in and out. I'm really surprised Goblin Slayer hasn't been debuffed again. Usually they debuff a little quicker. If he is debuffed, we can actually use Winter Haruhime to remove those debuffs. So we're not overly worried about that. But for now, I'm going to keep doing base attacks with Winter Haruhime just so I keep her MP in clutch. Because we need that. We absolutely will need that. Alright. And finally, one more essay with him. He is not debuffed again. No, he is not. That's good news. We only had that one debuff to deal with. That is rare, but it's a thing. Okay? Go, Goblin Slayer. Go! Now, I know you guys are going to be complaining that, oh, my Tione is MLB. That's going to help. Remember, she's a light type. She's not really producing damage. Like, she's producing minimal damage here. Same with the Winter Haruhime. Same with the OG. In fact, the OG Haruhime isn't really producing anything. This is 90% Goblin Slayer. That did not hit for a full mill. But I feel like Goblin Slayer's got this on the next turn. It is also really important to get the retaliation from Goblin Slayer. So doing Sheikah to keep the to get the crit counter rate up is going to be absolutely imperative. All right. And let's go ahead and do Dancing Snow one more time, then we probably won't need it. Removing those debuffs is going to be kind of nice. Or, I'm sorry, removing his buffs is going to be kind of nice. All right. If I absolutely had done this right and removed those debuffs before that first essay with Goblin Slayer, this would have been an S clear. Unfortunately, it is now going to be an A clear. But basically what we've got our hands on right now is a guaranteed way to defeat just about any opponent. So I'll go back over this after this defeat of our old Serpent Man here. Take him out, Goblin Slayer. Do it. Do it. He did. Once again, expect a little more damage out of him, but hey, it's RNG at that point. So, the long and the short of it is, this is now a guaranteed certified... I already S-cleared it, so you don't need to worry about the S-clear. Guaranteed certified way that you'll be able to beat this very, very easily. And this isn't even a whale team. Like, Line is a +4 and she's sacked. The Winter Haruhime is +1 and she's surviving easily. Kurumi, doesn't really matter who you put there, but the main thing is 5th slot, you want somebody that can debuff that type. In Kurumi's case, she's doing a 35% a dark type debuff. Now, she also does AGL, but that's not as important. The dark type debuff is the biggest thing you're looking for right there. Now, that is huge. That means the Goblin Slayer can come in and... or whatever, it doesn't matter. Goblin Slayer can come in here and he can actually do his single target attacks. Now, the nice part with Goblin Slayer is he already does his debuffs. But he's also debuffing physically. Debuffs physical 30 and dark... debuffs physical 30 and dark 30. Now, Kurumi obviously does dark 35. It's negligible, that difference, but it's actually more to the point. This is supposed to showcase a way you could take on anybody. Because this is the same team that we took on light type with. Now, admittedly, Chione was actually helping out with light type at that point. You could take on fire with this. You just swap out Goblin Slayer for Katori or whoever you've got that does your best single target fire damage. And then obviously, I'd put like Krazo or somebody over here to debuff fire. If I was going to do water, same old, same old. You're basically going to come through here and just put in your best units. For light, we use the new Haruhime Adventurer, and I forget who debuffed, but Origami debuffed. That's right. So this team, this blanket team, in slot 2, with whoever you've got down there, that is your best buffer. So slot 2 for your adventurer is going to be your best single target hitter of that type. Slot 5 is going to be your best debuffer of that type damage. Straightforward. You're always going to have Tione or whoever. You can actually use the Winter Chigusa. The only reason this person is here is simply to add 100% to the SA gauge, so we get frequent super attacks. I put Freya on this unit because Freya does a lot of debuffing, and she does resistance to any type of ailment. Now, I did say that the Serpent does stunning. Everybody in this now does stunning. Used to be we did stunning and sleeping, but now it's all just straight stunning. So you can throw stun anklets on them. In fact, Tione, I could have put anything on because Freya gives that ability. But the main thing Freya is doing here is she adds a lot of physical and magic resistance, so Tione survives. Because remember, she didn't get that big buff from Winter Haruhime. I could have redone the buff if I'm honest, but this just makes life a little bit simpler, a little bit easier. Line is an absolute must. When she came up last time, I told you guys to pull for her. Hopefully everybody that watches these videos has that idle Line. If not, next time she comes up, don't sleep. She's going to give Goblin Slayer, OG Haruhime, and Winter Haruhime each 33% more SA gauge charge. Okay? Now, this is important. The OG Haruhime has Casino Seer on here. Now, if you don't have the Casino Seer ML bead, she's only 66% SA gauge charge. But if you have her ML bead, she's 100%. I'm willing to bet at 66% it's not going to change a whole lot. It's probably going to be the difference of like a turn or two compared to where we ended it. So, really no big deal. You're still easily within the realm of beating this, very simply put. Okay? Under Goblin Slayer, I have the Artemis Assist, because Artemis gives 20%, and she has a really good physical attack. Now, obviously, if you're using magic units here instead of physical units, that's fine. You just put, like, Demeter or somebody there that's going to give the most damage to whoever is producing that damage. Underneath Line, underneath Line, I have the Dark-type Bell. Dark-type Bell's good because he's going to debuff, Dark a little bit. There are other units you could use there. I probably would have been wiser, if I'm honest, to use, what the hell is her name? I would have been completely wiser to... It's late. It would have been wiser to use Sword Maiden. Thank you, Brain. Sword Maiden would have been a wiser choice there because she's going to reduce some of the incoming damage. But, yeah, I did what I did there. It's fine. Either way, it's all great. And the nice part is this Living Dead Bell is free to play if you were around for that event. My friends that over on the EU side, you guys are not going to have that opportunity. Now, the Hestia that is attached to this Haruhime, she's a single target buffer. You want her. She's really never going to change on this team. Okay? Now, the Seer is once again a dark type buffer. So she's going to come in, she's going to buff Goblin Slayer's damage. That's all she's there for. It's very simple. So, in slot 1, neither the Adventure nor the Assist are going to change. Slot 2, the Adventure is going to change. Slot 3, the Assist is going to change. Slot 4, nothing's going to change. Slot 5, the Adventure and the Assist are going to change based on what you need for the event. Slot 6, nothing is going to change. I hope that makes sense. Now, obviously, slot 2, the Assist could change to a Magic Assist if you're going to use Magic. But each and every single time, if you follow this pattern, you will be beating the EX level. I think it's EX. The EX is very hard. Very hard level, sorry. Very hard level of, man, if only we could get an EX level. I mean, I know. We'd be back to Whale Zone at that point. I hear you, but I kind of want it. But you can beat very hard of the whatever type is here in 7th Zone. I hope this helps somebody out. I apologize for the little fragment. It's a little bit late, but this is literally the pattern now, guys. Go out there, beat 7th Zone, get your stuff. Let me know if you had any problems with this. I know that some of these units you may not have, but you can actually go through and, amend that for whatever units you have that do literally the same thing. I've lost my video feed again. There we go. Come on back. There we go. Perfect. Apologies. I still need to go get my phone fixed. But it's real hard with the quarantine going on. But that is 7th Zone, guys. That's the pattern. Let me know what y'all thought in the comments section down below. I'm going to edit all that badness out, but that's probably untrue. See you next time.